Hi there, welcome to Tarotland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Gemini energy. Oops, and like usual on this channel, we're going to do two rows. The top row I refer to as a high vibe Gemini energy, the bottom row a more worldly, shadowy Gemini energy. We all have our dualistic nature, our more worldly nature, which is our more immature, prideful, egotistical, lazy, fearful, insecure, self-limiting beliefs, want to stay in our comfort zone nature. And then we have our more high vibrational nature, which wants us to have hope and faith and belief in ourselves and in our dreams and let love and intuition guide us more than our more worldly nature. And some people could be struggling within themselves and battling within themselves about making a decision. We have free will. We have to make decisions. And so some people could be battling within themselves. Other people have already made their decision. Some people are going to move forward in a more high vibrational way. Some people aren't ready to move forward and they're happy living their life the way they're living it. And some people are choosing to align with their more shadowy worldly nature, and that's just how they view life. You know, Gemini energy is about our dualistic nature of free will, and we can choose to build our life on a foundation of like having hope and faith and belief in love and letting intuition and things like that guide us, or we think we need to work with things of the world and we ignore our intuition and we think that, you know, these are the only things we have to work with, but we were given the gift of intuition and we can align with a more hopeful, believing, loving nature within ourselves and how we choose to take action in the world. And some people reject that aspect within themselves. And some people don't, you know, if it's romantic relationships, some people don't want to do love. They can get hurt doing love. And they choose to live more from their mind than their heart, to make themselves feel safe. So protecting themselves from being hurt at all costs. So we just need to see the truth of it. So we all tap into Gemini energy. It's based on what our truth is. And, you know, listen to your intuition about where you're at in the story. Listen to your intuition about other people in your life. If you harness high vibe Gemini energy, you'd probably like to hang out with other people who do. If you're someone who's more aligned with your truth it's more about these things of the world, and that's the most driving factor in your life, whoever's like that is probably going to want to hang out with people who view life the same way they do. So let's go see what is going on. Let's go look at the bottom row first. The reason for the reading for the bottom row is yin-yang, which can be about justice and fairness and balance. We all live our life at any given time that we've lived our life, even when we were being reckless and immature or whatever, we thought it was just and fair. So we all do what we think is just and fair, and based on our emotional maturity level and how we view life, we're going to live life that way. Because that's where we're at. The high vibe energy row is kind of seeing through the illusion. The more shadowy worldly row can be how we are caught up in all these things of the world, all these things we want to go pursue and make our life about that we're sure will make us happy. But high vibrational energy is seeing through the illusion that it starts with me maintaining balance within myself so I'm not tipped out of balance, making decisions more out of fear or insecurity or pride or ego or immaturity, and healing and growing and maturing myself so that I make more stable, grounded, balanced decisions in my life based on the lessons I've learned in life. So we have journey, you know, we all go on these journeys to learn lessons in life. The fifth chakra, which is Taurus energy, about what our philosophy of life is at any given moment. We're going to be motivated and inspired to go live our life based on how we view life. Some people might be more inspired. The journey card is kind of reminding me of the Fool card and the Eight of Wands, which is fire sign energy. If our philosophy of life is that we're still looking more to the world and outside of ourselves to be the answer to our problems, that's what we're going to go take action towards, those things of the world. Because Taurus energy has to do with our philosophy of life, and that's how some people's philosophy of life is. So that's what motivates and drives them. That is in the throat chakra, like their truth. And then we have all tied up, which can be like an Eight of Swords, Gemini energy. I prefer to live more from my mind than my heart. I'm going to do what seems practical and logical, what's good for my status and my image, and makes me look victorious in the world, like I am balanced, like I have justice in the world. But we have a card not showing itself, which could be what people who have a more worldly, shadowy view of life or life perspective might be rejecting harnessing in a high vibe way. Woman holding coin in reverse. Well, the queens in tarot can talk, and the feminine figures can talk about how we think and feel. And in high vibe, if the Queen of Pentacles were upright, it could indicate people who have learned lessons in life, who have emotionally grown and matured themselves. And some people reject that. I don't want... The truth sets us free. We heal, we grow, we mature. We look at life differently. We expand our perception of ourselves and the world around us differently. That would be a high vibe Queen of Pentacles energy. And some people are like, I reject that. We have to get out of our pride and ego to even admit that I do have lessons to learn. I do have healing and growing and maturing to do. I might have a limited perspective of life. I might be kind of stubborn. I might do what seems more practical and logical. I might ignore my more emotionally mature nature because I don't want to do the more emotionally mature thing. Because I'd have to see the truth of what's driving my actions, and I don't want to see the truth. Shadowy energy can be wanting to stay in denial of the truth. I don't want to see the truth. If someone is more about themselves or they're kind of immature, they might not want to see the truth of it. If they are someone who's really kind of caught up in money and ego and image and status, or codependent, wanting to be in relationships more out of fear and insecurity, they don't want to acknowledge that to themselves. If there's someone who has a lot of fear of love and being hurt, they don't, you have to be willing to put in work and effort. The Queen of Pentacles and the Pentacles talk about investing time, energy, and effort into things emotionally. And some people are like, I don't want to invest the time, energy, and effort emotionally to heal. The rest and rejuvenation is like the Four of Swords, Libra energy, reflecting on our past pain and heartbreak, our self-limiting beliefs, our fears and our insecurities, to reflect on them. To offer, up here in the top row, we have 2 Leo cards, which in high vibe is about shedding light, love, and compassion on our fears, our insecurities, our self-limiting beliefs, so that we can heal. Shedding light on them, because otherwise, we can want to stay in denial of the truth and not deal with some issues, because it does mean we have to think about it. We have to look at those things. And some people hope if they just, I'm just going to ignore it. I don't have to deal with it. I can just move on. This kind of pride comes before the fall. I can just ignore that. I don't have to do that. I don't have to look at those things. I don't have to deal with those things. I can just ignore it. And it could be ignoring their more spiritual self, because I do view the Queen of Pentacles, like the throat chakra card, as being Taurus energy. And with all of our zodiac sign traits and characteristics, we can align with them in a more worldly, shadowy way or a more high vibrational way. High vibe Taurus is people who really walk the talk. They are who they say they are. And some people are more about creating the illusion that they are this stable, grounded person, this spiritual leader in the world, or this pillar of society that people should want to move forward with them in friendships and relationships and marriages. And but they're really not. The masculine figures can talk about operating, and the shadowy row can talk about that you're operating more from your ego, whether you're male or female. And some people reject their more actually walking the talk, being just and fair, making more balanced decisions in their life. And part of it can just be because they're on their own journey to learn some lessons in life that maybe some other people in their life have already learned. But shadowy Fool card, shadowy Eight of Wands, shadowy, yeah, that's kind of how I view the Journey card, as like a Fool card or an Eight of Wands. You know, we've all got lessons to learn in life, and some people have learned how to be more just and fair, to be more balanced, to not be so caught up in their more immature nature, or more motivated and inspired by themselves or their ego. Because shadowy Fool card and Aries energy would be being more about themselves, kind of immature. I want to go indulge in these things of the world. I want this status and image. I want people to view me a certain way. I'm in a mental prison about maybe being more just and fair, kind of viewing the yin yang card as like Libra energy represented by the scales of justice. I prefer to align with my more worldly, egoic, possibly defensive or egotistical view of life, or immature view of life. And I do have lessons to learn, but I'm not ready to accept that truth yet. So some of them could be hiding that they rejected emotionally mature, loving people in their life, because in our free will, we have our dualistic nature, and then we have the different people in our life that we can choose to align with. And some of these people had been on a journey, or currently are on a journey, with some people who do harness this energy in a more high vibrational way. But those people are inspired to walk the talk, and in high vibe Gemini energy, be focused more on truth and love for the decisions that they're making. And they could be and were in relationships with people who were more balanced. But because that isn't their truth, and that isn't maybe what drives and motivates them, and they still want to be more either about themselves or these things of the world, or these things they want to go indulge in, because they have fear of being open to love. They have some past pain and heartbreak and self-limiting beliefs that make them reject love and listening to their intuition. And again, some of them could just be kind of stubborn and full of themselves. They had some high vibe, emotionally mature, loving people in their life that they rejected. And it could have been because they took some foolish action. Taurus energy can represent all these institutions of the world, workplaces, family dynamics, friendship groups, marriages. When they were in a relationship with someone who was more inspired by justice and fairness and truth and love and looking at life from a higher perspective, they could have done something kind of foolish. They took a foolish risk in the relationship. Instead of speaking their truth, they could have been up in their head about speaking their truth. And they maybe didn't act in an emotionally mature manner, and it caused the people they were in relationship with to kind of be up in their head about staying in a relationship with them. And up in the top row, we have the action card in reverse, which is also, I view like an Eight of Wands, just like the Journey card. Some people in their life were not willing to keep moving forward with them anymore because they saw the truth. With the Rest and Rejuvenation card being like the Four of Swords, something happened that made people feel hurt and kind of betrayed. And it could have been because someone in their free will, Gemini is about our free will, the Eight of Swords, what do we do when we're moving forward in relationships and something comes up in the relationship that kind of challenges maybe our belief system of how we view life, how we view ourselves, how we view the world, how we view relationships, how we tend to want to interact with people in a way that we think is just and fair. And if one person, let's go look at this card, attachment. If one person isn't operating more from their defensive egoic nature, they reject that and they operate more from a high vibrational Leo energy of being loving and warm and encouraging and supportive and authentic. And it kind of challenges the other person to temper their ego or their fears or their insecurities or their self-centered nature or their more immature nature. With the Queen of Swords next, to look at life from a higher perspective and just keep things in perspective. Some people aren't able to do that, and those are lessons that you learn during life. To be inspired, to maintain balance within yourself, to stay in hopeful, believing, loving energy, and to keep things in perspective and not get all caught up in your head. And that can be the difference that happens kind of in mismatched relationships, is the other people maybe haven't learned how to emotionally nurture themselves and stabilize themselves and maintain balance within themselves, and then they get all up in their head and up in their fear and their insecurities and afraid that people are being deceptive and manipulative and people are deceiving them, and just have a lack of faith and trust in love and maybe in themselves. And so when those happen, that's when they get all up in their head and they could act in a more immature, defensive, stubborn way in order to try to get people to do what they want. Because you've either learned good coping skills in life where you've seen the truth that I should offer love to the situation, calm myself, temper myself, Leo, temper myself, temper my ego, temper my fears. I should keep perspective, not get all caught up, keep life in perspective, look at things from the big picture, kind of extend grace to the situation. Just because certain things are going on now doesn't mean total chaos is going to break out, or kind of getting so caught up in my fears. High vibe energy is about being able to offer yourself love and compassion and forgiveness, to temper yourself so you're not, going off driving your life off into the ditch. I have learned to reject my more immature nature that could make me want to act in more stubborn, prideful, egotistical, defensive ways of being. And I've already done that in my life. I've already learned that isn't conducive to a healthy relationship in work or friendship. So I temper my ego and I look at life from a higher perspective. And with the door to romance, I've learned that offering love to myself, to calm myself, offering love to the people I'm in relationship is the best choice. Love is the best choice. But some people haven't learned that yet. And they do get caught up in their fear and their insecurity or their stubbornness or their ego or their more immature, egotistical nature. And they don't act in more emotionally mature ways. And some people in their life saw the truth of it. And some people are experiencing that right now. And if they were thinking of dating someone, because the Queen of Pentacles and the Queen and King of Pentacles is the only married to the deck, but it can also reference to workplaces. But if some people were thinking of continuing on in a job or a relationship, we have the Victory card and the Strength card. People are moving forward, thinking everybody's on the same page. And then we have the Queen of Swords come up, which can be, wait a minute, The queen, again, feminine figure, it can talk about how we think and feel. Doesn't matter if we're male or female. It's like, wait a minute. We were moving forward in this situation, work or friendship, whatever. And then it's starting to feel betrayed because someone seems to be up in their head about maybe more emotionally investing themselves in the relationship. You know, we can be in a relationship and kind of shadowy fire sign energy can be, I just want to indulge myself in the relationship. I enjoy the relationship. I want to be in the relationship. I want to stay in the relationship. But it is kind of more like sex is love versus being in a more emotionally mature, deep, meaningful relationship in Gemini energy based on truth and love, building a foundation based on love. And then people can start to wonder why, or if people are acting stubborn or bossy or controlling or immature. It's like, I don't know if I want to stay in this relationship anymore because I thought we were on the same page and I thought we all had the same idea of what it meant to be in a workplace or a relationship. I thought everybody had learned these lessons about what it meant to treat other people the way you like to be treated. Because love is supposed to be just and fair, and you treat other people the way you like to be treated. And if it's a romantic relationship, some people think it's supposed to be you're in it because of love. Not because I want to be in a relationship because it's good for my ego and my image. Leo, fire sign energy again, just like Sagittarius and Aries. I wasn't in a relationship just to be in a relationship, to indulge myself sexually, to look like a shining star in the world because I'm in a mental prison about loving and believing in myself. I wanted to be in a relationship because of love. And I wanted justice and fairness. And I wanted the relationship to grow and mature over time. And the other people are like, oh, that's not how I viewed it. I thought you were like me. I thought you were kind of defensive to really being more high vibe Leo, more authentic and loving and vulnerable in a relationship. I thought you had the same philosophy of life like I did, which is we kind of operate more from our worldly egoic nature. This, we like each other. This would be good for our ego and image. We're attracted to each other, but I didn't really think we do have to really emotionally grow and mature and heal ourselves in this relationship or really authentically emotionally invest in it. That wasn't my idea of what I think is just and fair. And a more shadowy Taurus philosophy of life is that it's a more transactional relationship. Well, you have this, I have that, we should exchange resources with each other. But, you know, if people aren't in a relationship because of love, why are they in it? Well, because it's good for my ego and my image and my status. You kind of indulge me in my certain peculiar ways of being, and I indulge you maybe in your certain peculiar ways of being. We can get along good enough to be in a relationship. But if love isn't the driving factor, well, if anyone else comes along that's got more status, more image, more willing to indulge you, if it's not love, you know, it's just not the driving factor. And if someone else comes along that I think has more status or image or looks more successful or victorious or might be less requiring me to grow or heal or mature myself, I'll just go try to go get in a relationship with them. Whoever doesn't require me to get more balance or to heal myself. And there's some people right now that could be, I just kind of want male or female. I don't want to have to get in a more formal commitment. I want to be able to do what I want. And if something else comes along that I want to go get involved in, I want to be able to go do it. And because of that, other people could have left their life. But I think right now they're trying to, if they're in a relationship right now, they're trying to hide that So they could be in a relationship with another loving person, and Leo energy talks about wanting to illuminate the truth. If shadowy, worldly people are in a new relationship, the people that they're in a relationship, again, because people gain this life experience, people might be more willing to tolerate people in their immature behavior, be more patient about people being more emotionally mature in a relationship. When they're younger, they might be more patient. As they get older, you don't expect people to be acting in more immature, indulgent ways. You expect them to be more emotionally mature. And again, they could have some people in their life who want the relationship to bring justice to the relationship. And someone could be in a mental prison right now because they were kind of indulging themselves in a relationship, thinking maybe the other people would just kind of have fear of loving and believing in themselves and believing in their dreams to move on in their life without them. And that even if they weren't willing to make a more formal commitment and bring justice to the situation, that those people would have fear of believing in themselves, like, I'm going to go be single again, and, I want a more formal commitment or more authentic commitment. I don't want to be in a relationship where it's, you're either making a commitment or you're not. And if some people feel that way, some of those people could be kind of holding their sword up to some people in their life that, some people want to be in a relationship. The reason why the top rose reading also came out is because someone else harnesses this energy in a different way. You harness your Libra energy differently. Some people like to be in a relationship to rest, because they could be kind of unstable or ungrounded within themselves. They really get caught up in their head. They don't know how to emotionally nurture themselves and stabilize themselves. So it's to look to a relationship to make themselves feel better. And again, that's what kind of the shadowy energy can be about, is more codependent energy. Some people's vice is drugs and alcohol to feel better. Other people's vice is, I want to get in a relationship. Oh my gosh, I need to get in a relationship. I'm in a mental prison. I'm not in a relationship. I need to get in a relationship. And then they could try to present themselves as harnessing more high vibrational energy than they do. Like they're this victorious, successful person, to people in the world who might feel betrayed because the relationship they had been in didn't work out, and then try to get that person to get in a relationship with them to make them feel more balanced within themselves. But again, it's kind of more for their own purposes than having much to do with the person they get in a relationship with. I just need a relationship to be in, so I look like I've moved forward, that I have a certain status and image in the world, because some people think being in a relationship says something about their worth and value or something, and it's very important to them. And I just need a relationship to rest within. And then the people they get in a relationship, it's kind of like, I thought we were really going to bring a dream into reality. It's like, oh no, I wasn't planning to bring that dream into reality. Oh shit, are you starting to see through the illusion, and you're going to hold me accountable for my actions? Oh shit, I need to get out of this. And then some people might right now be trying to figure out how they can get out of a relationship that they're in, because that person wants them to make it a more formal commitment, and they just wanted a place to rest with him. Other people, you've gotten out of your more immature, egoic nature. You're moving forward in a more authentic, loving, confident way. If you're in, at any time in our life, in our relationships with friends and family members, we're speaking our truth to the people in our life that basically, if we're treating other people in a just and fair and authentic and loving and encouraging way in truth and love, you know, other people in our life might want to keep moving forward with us, but we might periodically have to look at some of the people in our life like, why are they moving forward with me? Is this based on truth and love, or is this more for the ego or the image? Are you being just and fair? Is this based on truth and love? Why am I doing it? Why are you doing it? And periodically people have to look at those things. And as some people get out of some relationships, they can communicate with other people. This is how I'm moving forward to see if some of the people in their world who they think are on the same page as them to be friends with or be in a romantic relationship with are on the same page with them or not. Again, you know, we could know some people, they're not immature, they're not like stubborn and prideful and egotistical and don't live more from their mind than their heart, but they still could be a little bit defensive to tempering their ego a little bit more to do a more just and fair relationship, because people can be, you know, we're all on the spectrum of how we view life, and whether they're male or female, we probably both know different types of people in our world that kind of think they can be loving and warm and encouraging people in a lot of ways, but they still do kind of think in a tinge that it should be more about them, that they should be deferred to in some way. And some of them could have to deal with that about really being in a relationship, that getting out of that idea for some reason of thinking they should be indulged in some way. You know, it's like it is about working together cooperatively in a just and fair and loving way. That's love. It's not where someone is kind of deferred to. One person isn't supposed to be in like a position of power, and that's what more shadowy energy can be, is that I should be the much more deferred to person, even though for a long time in a relationship, you might not know that they feel that way. But if you're in a more mismatched relationship, as you start to do this work within yourself to heal from any of your own more immature ways of viewing life or living more from your mind than your heart, and you kind of free yourself from things that used to manipulate you, and you're kind of coming into your own and shining. Leo and Aquarius and High Vibe is about shining your authentic light in the world, and quit letting things from your past and these things about the world manipulate you, and you're getting in that more balanced energy. That's when some of the people in their life can take a foolish risk to try to manipulate and control you to get you up in a mental prison, because they don't want you in that energy, because every relationship has to be balanced. And if before you were kind of either on the same page or equally imbalanced, where one person was more loving and encouraging and enabled the other person kind of in their poor behavior, when you get more balanced within yourself, it kind of puts pressure on them, and the energetics aren't the same, and it's kind of wanting them to meet you at where you're at on this new way of kind of viewing life and viewing yourself and viewing relationships, and they don't want to do it. And so then they can do things, and some people could be doing that right now in a relationship, to try to get someone to quit doing this emotional work within themselves to feel more stable and grounded and balanced within themselves, because they liked it when they were more up in their head and in a mental prison. And for some people, that is finally seeing the truth of it. You know, for a long time, we can be in workplaces and relationships with people where we kind of think they're being kind of unjust or unfair or bossy or controlling or whatever. And for a long time, we don't want to see the truth of it, because it requires us to then take action on that truth. And we wanted these things to work out, and we have love for those people. But as we do that work within ourselves to keep maintaining balance within ourselves and believing in ourselves and believing in our dreams and loving and encouraging people to get on that page with us, to have more hope and faith and belief and love than fear or insecurity or making their life about these things they indulge in or ego, that can be when some people, that's it. I see the truth. I'm no longer going to play this game. And I've been doing this work to work through why I would stay in jobs and friendships and relationships with people who kind of seem to maybe do these more immature, stubborn, or just seeing the truth. They're more motivated by ego and image and love. And I've gotten out of my attachment and codependent energy and kind of love and believe in myself. And that's when some people can be, I'm speaking my truth. I'm only moving forward in this way. And if that's not how you want to move forward, I wish you peace and I will not be moving forward with you in this way anymore. So what's coming up for people who harness some high vibe Gemini energy? They are not operating from their ego or their immature nature. They are being loving and encouraging and truthful, keeping life in perspective, speaking the truth, offering truth and love and encouragement to people. What's coming up for them that they might not see coming? Okay, we had a card flip. The Three of Pentacles. Why? Because of the Ace of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups. Well, the Three of Pentacles is Capricorn energy. More shadowy Capricorn energy is represented by the Devil, and that can be our more shadowy, egoic view of life and how it manipulates us. So I would say that as you do this work within yourself, you're operating from a new foundation. Why? Because you learn these lessons in life and you invested in your more hopeful, believing, loving nature instead of continuing to invest in more taking action, more out of having a philosophy of life where your decisions were more impacted by your fear and your insecurity and your codependency, and you've learned to love yourself. You freed yourself from your more worldly view of life, and so now the decisions that you're making, high vibe energy is about being more independent of your own shadow nature and being manipulated by your more immature, fearful nature and by the world and other people to live your more authentic life. So I would say you're going to be operating in a new foundation within yourself. And when you do that, you don't have an interest in repeating these certain ways of behavior and living life because you're not that person anymore. You know, just like when you were age 15, you lived your life a certain way and viewed life a certain way. And when you're 21, you don't want to live your life again like you did as a 15-year-old because you don't view life that way anymore. So you have aligned with a new foundation because you've learned to love yourself and heal from past pain and heartbreak and align with your more hopeful, believing nature. And then I think as you do that, there's going to be other people that want to invest in you because they see you're not being immature, you're not being stubborn, you're not being bossy, you're not wanting to be in jobs, friendships, and relationships with people more out of fear and insecurity or emotional immaturity. That you are, high vibe Taurus is you would be someone, just because we had some Taurus energy here, that you are someone who really is walking the talk. You are who you say you are. You are authentic. You look at life from a higher perspective. You offer love and balance and healing, and other people will want to be in long-term relationships with you because of that. What's coming up for some of the people who harness a more worldly, shadowy Gemini energy that they might not see coming? The Seven of Swords. Why? Because of the Ace of Cups. Well, I think if there's people in the world that are kind of being kind of in a way that some other people in the world find to be kind of immature or bossy or controlling or manipulative or something, which is basically what the Seven of Swords talks about. And for a long time, people can stay in relationships with people even if they think they are trying to confuse them about the truth, trying to make them think they have love for them when really there might be an alternative purpose for why they're in the relationship. And the Seven of Swords is Aquarius energy. You know, the reason why some people want to be in a relationship or do what they do in the world is for an ulterior purpose. Like, I'm trying to present myself as being a shining star in the world. I'm trying to present myself as like, look, I've moved on. I'm not the person I was before. Look how stable and grounded I am. Look how loving I am. I got in a new relationship with someone who's loving and nurturing and supportive. And eventually the loving, supportive, nurturing person realizes, yeah, but you're not. Yours is more of a facade because that's what shadowy energy is, living more from the mind than the heart. I'm going to try to create this illusion that I'm this nurturing, just, fair, emotionally mature person, but it's all really just a facade. I'm really operating more from my ego and maybe my defensive nature, and if it's good for my ego and my image. And eventually, even though people have love for them, they're going to have some high vibe people in their life. In high vibe, the Seven of Swords is holding the Five of Swords. I have a dream, and I'm going to listen to my intuition. And my intuition is telling me to wish you peace and to move on. Because I keep putting work and effort to make this a more just and fair and balanced and loving, authentic relationship. But it takes both people putting in work and effort equally to make it in that kind of energy. Not where one person puts in that work and effort to make it a just and fair and loving and inspiring. And, you know, it's supposed to be that both people are doing that. And they realize the other person has fear about authentically, emotionally investing in it. Or emotionally growing up and maturing themselves and getting out of their more egoic nature, defensive nature. And they're going to have some high vibe people leave their life. And they maybe didn't see that coming because with Taurus energy that we have in the middle here, can be people who've put a lot of work and effort into having a lot of stability, security, status, image, their looks, social clout, look like they have justice in the world. But they might have what looks like justice in the world. They just don't really authentically do love. And if some of these people keep living their life like that, eventually they might end up in a relationship with someone who's more like themselves. Someone else who says, oh, wait a minute. I've been moving forward with some people who want me to heal and grow and mature myself. That's a lot of work for me because that's not really my truth. Wait a minute, I think I should go get in a relationship with this person. I'll make an emotional investment in them, a cup, in order to get in a relationship with them. They seem to be in a mental prison about love. I seem to be in a mental prison about love. I think we're on the same page. And we're maybe more about ego and image and looking like a shining star in the world. So we should be in a relationship. And then that would be a just and fair relationship. Someone else who is up in their head about love. But I'll make an emotional investment in you to be in a relationship with you. And that would be someone that's more on the same page as them. And that would be a just and fair relationship. The other people want to be in relationships with people who are invested in letting love and intuition be the guiding factor in their life. Not the money, not the status. I mean, everything needs to be a balance, you know, because sometimes in our loving nature, it's like, oh my gosh, but I love them. And the other aspects of our life go in the toilet. But it's having hope and faith and belief in yourself that if you put in work and effort to believe in your dreams, that the divine works with you to manifest those things into reality. But love is supposed to be just and fair, and you treat each other the way you like to be treated. And it's not mentally trying to manipulate people into doing what you want or creating illusions about who you are. High vibe Leo is being authentic and honest about the truth of who you are and working together with people cooperatively from love, fears, insecurities, and self-limiting beliefs and all. And you work through those things and you're honest. As we're moving through life, we're always our shadow nature is like a never ending onion to peel back the layers of. We complete one phase of life like we did age 15 to going on to 18, and we've kind of overcome some fears and insecurities of life at that phase of life. We kind of conquered that level of the video game of life. And we go to the next phase of life, and there's going to be more fears and insecurities and things that bubble up. But are we willing to keep life in perspective, maintain balance within ourselves, have hope and faith and belief and love, offer love and truth to the people we're in relationships with, to keep working through those things so we don't take more immature, prideful, stubborn action because we're up in our head about in fear or insecurities or something, you know? We work together cooperatively to work through those. And for some people, when those things happen, it's like, nope, this is the way I want to do it, and we should do it this way. And that's not working cooperatively with other people. And if other people have offered love and encouragement, spoken their truth, try to come to a place of balance, and other people are defensive to that, that can be where, well, then I wish you peace to live your life the way you want. Your idea of what you think is just and fair is different than my idea of what is just and fair. So, you know, not everybody's on the same page at the same time. High vibe people wish other people peace. So, there you go, Gemini energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.